بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is Miss Leila Al-Jihani. Inshallah, we will continue Unit 1, which is Check Your Lifestyles. Inshallah, today we will start Lesson 2. Previously, in Lesson 1, we have covered many lifestyles, statements and expressions. We saw different stories, different lifestyles like Arthur's, Noura's. Also, we highlighted the adverbial expressions like usually, always, never. And at the end of the lesson, we filled out our profile. There were some questions, and you filled it out based on your own lifestyle, the way you live, your routine. Okay. If you haven't done it yet, please fill out your profile because we will use it in our lesson today. Okay? Bismillah, let's start. Okay, by the end of this lesson, inshallah, you will be able to express your lifestyle, talk about it, develop questions about your friends' lifestyle. You can talk to your friends about their lifestyles, ask them questions, your family, your brothers, sisters. Also, you will be able to communicate with your friends using questions related to their lifestyles. Okay, so to help you ask these questions, to help you communicate with your friends and know how they spend their time every day, there are many ways. We have the first question is how often. If you see a question with how often, usually we answer this question using the adverbs of frequency. Always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. Like for example, how often do you drink coffee? You can answer using these. I always drink coffee. I usually drink coffee. Or I never drink coffee. Okay? You can use these adverbs of frequency to answer this question, how often. Okay? Another way to answer how often, we have this formula to help you. Okay? We have the number. Okay? You can, what I mean is 1, 2, 3. You can fill it out with a number plus the word times plus the article a, and a time period. What I mean about time period, it's day, week, month, and a year. Okay? Sorry. So, when I say how often do you swim, for example, you can say 3. We started with a number and the word time, 3 times, then the article a. At the last thing, time period, month. Okay? Another answer, you can say, I swim 4 number times a year. Okay? But there is an exception. For here, we have, you cannot say 1 time. No, it's wrong. You can say once. Once a day. You cannot say 1 time a day. The preferred one is once a day. You can't say, this is an I, 2 times a day. It's wrong. You can say twice a day. Okay? So twice a week. For example, how often, this is the question, do you exercise? I exercise twice a week, or I exercise 3 times a month. I exercise 4 times a year. Okay? Another way to answer the question how often is using the word every. Okay? Every plus a time period. We already talked about it, like day, week, month, year. You can say every day, every week, every month, every year. For example, how often do you exercise, or how often do you swim? How often do you play football? For example, you can say, I play football every day. This is for the boys. I go shopping every week. The girls, do you agree? I drink coffee. No, not coffee. I travel to Mecca, for example, every month. I visit Abha every year, for example. Okay? So, another way, this is one way to answer how often. Another way here, you only use the time period. We can only use the time period. We don't say every day, we say daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or annually. Okay? You can say, I go to visit my grandparents annually. I visit Mecca monthly. I go shopping weekly. Okay? An example here. How often do you read a book? I read every week. You can say every week, like number 3. Or you can say daily. I read daily. Okay? Let's see the next. Okay. You can also answer the question, how often, by using the word every plus a number plus the time period. Every 2 days, every 3 weeks, every 4 months, or every 5 years. For example, I travel, I go to Al-Qasim, for example, every 3 weeks to visit my grandparents, for example. Or I exercise every 2 days. This is to answer the question, how often. For example here, how often do you go shopping? I shop every 3 weeks. Or I go shopping every 3 weeks. Clear? Excellent. Okay. Another way to ask a question about someone's lifestyle is by using the question how many. How many, we use it with how many minutes, how many hours, how many days, and how many months. You can use it with any of these, or how many years, for example, any time period. The answer, however, is we use a number to answer this question. Okay? Like once a week, or 1 minute, 2 hours, 3 months. Okay? We use a number to answer this question. Okay? For example, how many days, okay, do you work? I work 5 days. We use the number to answer this question. Another way to ask about our daily routine, your friends' daily routines, or parents or brothers, is using how much. How much we usually use the word time. Okay, like how much time do you spend on the internet or on PS5 or playing video games or whatever. Okay, so the answer is, it should be, we use a number, 2, 3, 4, any number you like, and the time period, hours, weeks, months, and years. Okay, an example: how much time do you spend working out every day? How much time do you spend? I spend 3 hours, or I spend 2 hours, or I spend 3 weeks, which is too long to work out. So let's look at your book. Open your books, page 2. At the bottom, you can see number 2, our lesson, which is pair work. Okay? So you can see in part A of that question is ask and answer, role play the people in the article. What do they want you to do is pretend that Martin is in front of you, or Noura is in front of you. Imagine, look at your books, look at the people in page 1 and 2, and pretend that you are talking to them. Okay? This is a practice for your speaking. So let's pretend. We look at Martin, and then we say, so Martin, how often do you watch TV? Do you think, look at his picture, do you think he watches TV a lot? No, he works a lot. So you will say, I seldom watch TV. I have no time, because he is working all the time. Let's look at Noura. Tell me, Noura, how much time do you spend shopping? She says, because look at her bags, I shop a lot of time. I shop every weekend. She spends a lot of time shopping. Okay? So let's practice together. We have all of these people here. We have Khalid, Josh, Arthur, Noura, and Martin. Let's pretend and talk to them. Okay? Let's talk to Khalid. Let's ask him a question using the questions we practiced at the beginning of the lesson. We can say, Khalid, how often do you study? What do you think? Do you remember what does Khalid like? He likes playing puzzles. Also, he likes playing video games. So do you think he studies a lot? Maybe, but I reckon he doesn't. So we will say, I rarely study, which is, don't do the same. So let's look at Josh and pretend. Yalla, ask. Excellent. How often do you think, so we'll talk to Josh. How often do you exercise? Do you think he's an exercise person? No. Great. So he would answer as, I rarely exercise. Let's look at Arthur. We will say, so Arthur, how long or how much time do you spend exercising? He would answer, I exercise, do you think 1 minute a day? No. He would say 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, because he loves exercising. He is a healthy person. What do you think about Noura? يلا يا بنات. What do you think? I will ask the boys about Martin. What do you think? Okay, Noura. How much time do you spend watching TV? What do you think she will answer? Does she like watching TV a lot? Or she likes shopping? Excellent. She likes shopping. Maybe she would say, I rarely watch TV. I have no time. My free time, I would go shopping. What about you boys? What do you think about Martin? How can we ask him? How can we talk to him? So Martin, how often do you go in vacation? Excellent. Martin would say, I rarely go on vacation. Excellent. You can do this in your free time because this lesson basically is to practice your conversation, the way you speak, to improve your speaking skills. Okay? Okay. Part B, okay, the bottom part, there's a question. Ask and answer with your information, Do you remember the profile we did last class? Okay. Look at your profile. He wants you to look at it and ask and answer. Find someone around the house, your sister, your brother, whoever, your mother, your father, your friend. You can use Microsoft Teams to contact each other. Ask each other these questions in your profile, this profile you did last class. Okay. Ask yourself, how many hours a day do you watch TV? And then the other one will answer. Okay? So, I did this as an example. I want you to do your own. Okay? This is just to show you how you can answer these questions. How many hours a day do you watch TV? How many hours? Listen to your friend, how does he answer? Or does she answer? I watch TV 3 hours a day. Or I watch TV for an hour. Okay? The second question, how much money do you spend a week? Ask your father. I bet he spends a lot on you. So maybe your father would say, I spend 1,000 every week. Or maybe your friends will say, I spend 300. Or I spend 3 riyals or 30 riyal. It depends on everyone's daily routine. Okay? Another question here. How often do you exercise? Do you exercise? Look at your answers. Look at your friends' answers. How will they answer, reply to your question? I exercise every day. Or I exercise once a week. Or once a month. Okay? How often do you go shopping? How often do you go shopping? Do you like shopping like Noura? Me too. I love shopping, but it's a waste of money. I go shopping twice a month. That's mean 2 times a month. Or I go shopping every month. That's mean 1 time a month. Or every day. Or every week, like Noura. What 2 activities do you hardly ever do? That's mean you do it rarely. You don't do it a lot. Think about things that you don't do it a lot. I hardly ever swim and drink tea. These are the 2 things that you are hardly ever do. The next question is, what activities do you think you overdo. You do it a lot. I overdo playing football. I think a lot of the boys will agree with me. Okay. How many hours a day do you sleep? How many hours? You can say, I sleep 7 hours, or I sleep 12 hours, or 9 hours. It depends on your answer, your routine. What 2 activities do you do very often? Things that you do a lot. Okay? You can say, I watch TV a lot, or I drink tea a lot, if you are in love with tea or coffee. The last 2 questions, how do you talk on the phone? How long do you talk on the phone a day? I talk for 30 minutes or for 1 hour. It depends on your routine. How much time do you spend on the internet? Do you use the internet a lot, like Josh? You can say, I spend 5 hours, which is a lot. Okay? So, today we have covered the way we communicate with our friends, the way we ask questions. We know how, if we see or a new friend, we saw a new friend, we can ask them how do they spend their time. Yes? We practice asking the questions, using how often, how long, how much. Also, we practice the conversation, having a conversation with either the people in our book or our friends and family around. Okay? Thank you for listening. I hope this lesson was really useful for all of you. Inshallah, I will see you next class. Thank you.